So welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tuff Teams. Basically, we just get to know some of the Tuff team members and talk to them about their area of expertise. So I'm here with Rebecca today. Rebecca, I'm excited to talk to you about some SEO and kind of all things Tuff.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited.
Yeah, so I guess let's just kick it off with a quick intro, who you are, what you do at Tuff. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I am Rebecca. I am an SEO marketing manager here at Tuff, and still pretty new to Tuff. Only about 3 weeks old here. So
Yeah, so you've been with Tuff for a few weeks, and I feel like you've really hit the ground running, but is there anything that has surprised you or, was different than you thought it would be so far?
yeah, one of my favorite things is how easy it was for me to integrate into the culture, how true to the culture as it was described in my interviewing process that Tuff really is. And just how fun and kind everyone, is, and how there's just something in common and fun conversations constantly going on. I feel like I can be a fairly talkative person, so it was kind of nice to see everyone kind of nerding out about their own little things of music or movies or memes or whatever to help get through the day when they're stuck on something. So that's been a really fun surprise to have.
Right. Yeah, that the
Yeah.
remote culture at Tuff has been like set up really like intentionally, and I think that
Yeah.
is part of what makes Tuff so great.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so kind of before we move into SEO, I have, a few questions about you to get to know you a little better. So my first question is, if you weren't doing marketing and SEO, what would you be doing instead?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I feel like childhood me would say acting and singing, because I actually do have a background in acting and vocal performance. However, adult me in recent years would definitely say I would be a therapist, and would be, yeah, definitely invested in psychological research. It's a huge passion of mine, and one that I love. I get to kind of weave into like SEO and marketing is my understanding of humans and how they work and what they like or don't like.
Yeah, I'm sure that passion kind of plays into that well, just, understanding who you're talking to and,
Exactly.
what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So yeah, you mentioned you have a background in acting. I know you said
Yeah.
that you had worked in like a commercial, but have you done any other acting? Like, are you secretly in a movie that we don't know about or anything?
I wish actually more of a stage actor. So all of my life since I was a kid, I did some commercials. I've done some short films, some very indie short films during my time in college. But other than that, my main performance experience has been on the stage. So plays and musicals and all that good stuff.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a fun little fact there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess now we can kind of jump into SEO and marketing.
Yeah.
So how did you get your start in marketing and then like SEO more specifically?
Yeah. So about midway through college, as I'm, mainly focusing on my performance career, I just decided I wanted to get my feet wet in a different realm. And so I actually ended up adding on a corporate comm degree, focused a lot on media and PR and things like that. Had some great internships. And right out of college, I actually worked at an ed tech startup, and was doing more biz dev focused stuff. So definitely more like human to human stuff.
Yeah.
But then, at a startup, like many startups, they needed some hand raisers and they were like, we need someone to learn and do SEO. Who wants to do it? And I was like, yay. I really wanted to get into digital marketing. As good as I am with humans, there was something so interesting to me about the technical strategic aspects of it. So that's kind of where I got my start. And I got my start like very bare bones SEO before we got here, where it's like all about like natural language and all the
Right.
good stuff, where you're still like trying to build 1,000 links and stuffing keywords in places and things like that. So yeah, I got my start there, but it really helped me grow in my passion for it. Like, again, being able to have that technical strategic side, but then there really is this human element and this understanding, like, what do humans want to see once they're on a site, and how do we get them to convert naturally, and things like that. So I find that kind of nuance to it really, really intriguing.
Yeah. And you mentioned like moving from kind of old school SEO, stuffing keywords and link building to like where we're at now. Do
Yeah.
you have any like big ideas or like predictions about where SEO is headed in, say, the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah. Oh my God. Let me get the crystal ball out. Yeah. I mean, it's only going to continue to head in that direction of natural language. Like, in the best way possible. Like, the second algorithm started making that change, frankly, I hope other SEOs were like this, but I had this big sigh of relief, because then you can kind of start talking like a human again on a website instead
Yeah.
of like very robotic and everything. But yeah, obviously it's going to be very human driven, very behavior driven once a human's on the site. But on top of that, the AI that Google and other search engines are using is only getting smarter and smarter. I definitely see search results probably narrowing down a lot more. That first page having, a lot more features to it, a lot more human element to it, instead of just like listed websites and everything like that, because that's the experience that a lot of, humans are looking for. Is a lot of times they are looking for a question to be answered pretty quickly. A lot of times they are looking for, imagery to match the idea they had. So I definitely see search becoming a little bit more human focused in how it looks visually. But again, I definitely continue to see that AI favoring websites that are way more human friendly and way more intuitive and easy to use and easy to guide a user to what they actually need.
Gotcha. Yeah, I like that insight. Like, in some ways, I think it's good because, at the end of the day, it makes our job easier because we're not trying to figure out all these like hacks to like bump up a website's rankings.
Right.
But it also raises the bar because we have to make sure that the content that we're making is like super user friendly and easy to read and all that stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah. We have to be smart in every subject almost. So
yeah, no big deal.
no big deal.
Yeah, that's funny. So my next question is, and this is kind of stupid, but how do you explain what you do to your family and friends? Because I think that's one of the hardest parts about SEO is people ask you what you do and you're like,
Yeah.
I mean, how long do you want me to talk for to explain this to you?
Yeah. Yeah. So the first thing that I usually say is, how when you Google something and you find that perfect answer, like, I help make sure that my websites that have those perfect answers get in front of your face. And on top of that, the next layer to that is then once you're on that site, I'm making sure that that site is speedy, easy to read, easy for you to go through so that you can always find what you need. But it is kind of funny because I think most of the time, especially when I first started out in SEO, it was like, and trying to tell my parents, who are like constantly Googling things now, or I'm like, how you Google things to always find your answers? Well, like, those answers, I probably helped get them there.
Yeah, gotcha. I
Yeah.
like that. I'll have to use that.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. So, do you have any like, or is there like one SEO project or like, website or something that you're like especially proud of that you put a lot of like effort into and then it ended up, providing great results or something that just comes to mind? Like, what's that one SEO project that stands out?
Oh man. Oh, that's hard because I feel like there's a tie between two, but I'll go with my most recent one because it was kind of like my solo baby. I actually, after 4 years at an agency, ended up going in-house for a little bit, right before Tuff. And when I came in, I came in for a reason. They were looking for someone to completely own digital and web, my bread and butter. So I came in, and boy, did that website need a lot of love. But not just the technical aspects of it. It was also like brand love and positioning and language and understanding, like, the audience and, the language the audience is using to find these people within this industry. So, it was a lot of groundwork from scratch, from working with product teams and the sales teams to understand, what is our position in the industry, but also, hey, salespeople, what are people actually referring to our products and services as? Are we using the right language? Are we guiding them to what they really need? So it was a full everything redesign and refresh, from brand and language and positioning all the way to helping to map the site and map the customer journey, and have a well-oiled, well-running website. So it was just like an exciting journey that I got to really handle on my own from start to finish. Because coming from the agency world, it's like a big team effort. So it was quite an overhaul to be thrown in, in the first of its position at this company, and be able to like really make this thing my own. And it helped boost everything for them. Like conversions were happening like crazy finally for them, because we made it easier to understand how to convert and where to convert for the user. But on top of that, we were actually getting better folks to the site now that we really were using language that they understood and that they were really searching for.
Yeah. I like that, that bit about like really diving into a topic. I think digital marketing and SEO, especially SEO, because you're writing a lot of content, is like,
right.
You get to really dive into these companies and industries that maybe you wouldn't have been interested in otherwise. But I think there's kind of some interesting knowledge that you gain from that, whether you're coming up with a content plan or then actually like executing on that. So I found that SEO has been a fun learning experience in that way, as well as learning like marketing and SEO tactics.
Yeah, I think it's really fun. Obviously now I'm back agency side. And I feel like, a question I often hear is like, well, why did you go back in-house and why are you back agency? And I think the fun thing about agency life is you get to do that for so many, like you said, like so many different industries you would never even think to understand or try to understand. But then all of a sudden you're like in it and you're partners with these people and you're basically a part of their marketing team as well. And you're getting to nerd out with them all of a sudden because you get it and it clicks. And, there's something so motivating about, getting to like be a part of pushing a really beautiful, company that has something to offer in their industry forward. Yeah.
It's fun for sure. So that brings me to my last question. If you could do SEO for any company, any website, is there one that that you would choose, like in a certain industry or like a certain company that you just love to work with?
Oh, straight up, Naked Wines. I love wine. In fact, like one of my side hobbies is I'm attempting to get a certification as a sommelier. But Naked Wines is a wine company that I use, and I love them. I love the idea behind it. It's like they're supporting mom and pop winemakers around the world. But then they also get access to winemakers that are a part of really big, expensive brands who want to branch out on their own. So you get insanely experienced winemakers, insanely passionate winemakers that might not have gotten the backing that you're allowing them to have. So you get to kind of angel invest, but you also get to try these wines and experience it. And I just feel like the whole premise behind it is really awesome. And then of course, wine, like it's just great. So I, most of my life have peeked at their site and been like, okay, what, got any openings? But it's a really cool brand and obviously, really cool industry. So
that's awesome. Well, that's all I got. I appreciate you taking the time to talk and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, thanks so much. You too, Christian. I'll talk to you later.